Oh, I guess it would make sense if I had this where people can hear it. So my apologies. I think everyone can hear us now.
Oh, I thought you meant we weren't on the air.
No, we were on the air. So we were just doing radio for a second. My bad.
How dare we?
My bad, folks. We're off and rolling. We're off and rolling here. I got it figured out. But okay. So, but yeah, the gamer tags, because people didn't hear any of that. They didn't hear my dilemma.
So yeah, you got to create a gamer tag if it's on Xbox or PS5. So when you're playing online, people can find you. So I'm telling all my friends to send me their gamer tags, and they have the PS5 app. So I can go ahead and add them as a friend before I even get home today. So it's about to be crazy.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PS5.
Okay.
PS5.
I mean, I'm not going to go get like a PlayStation like the old one. I just meant like, which side do you?
Yeah, Kinner.
But doesn't that not matter anymore? Can't you?
Well, it doesn't matter if you just want to play people online. If you want to play in an online dynasty, you have to have systems that match. So only Xbox players can play in an online dynasty with Xbox folks, and only PS5 people can play with PS5 peoples on there. Yeah.
The dynasty thing, is that what you're? So we're going to be talking more of this video coming up. But you have Matt Brown.
Yes, Matt Brown from the Extra Points newsletter. He's been covering this game since the announcement came out 3 years ago, and he's been covering it. So his main job is talking, the money side of sports, talking to athletic directors and everything like that. And I'm going to ask him about, like how this whole thing come about. Like, this is big business. So like these schools, they want a kickback, right? And it's like, well, this is all part of publicity for their school. Some of these schools that wouldn't never get the time of day being covered, they're getting that time of day right now. They're getting the same amount of love as Ohio State did. Like Sam Houston State and Akron are getting the same amount of passion from the video game developers as Ohio State did. So they're all about it. So got a chance to chop it up with him. He's actually had the game for like 2 weeks already. And so I'm anxious to talk to him again.
So again, Kev Nash catching up with Matt, not Mac Brown. Mac Brown getting ready for his like 110th year coaching coming up with the Tar Heels. So just keep that in mind. But absolutely. So today's show, WWE Monday Night Raw will be live at the Nutter Center later on tonight. That's where you will see Kev Nash in the front row with his WWE shirt on, having a blast. But no, card subject to change. You can catch that wrestling show every Thursday here on 1410 ESPN Radio. That's hosted by Benjamin Chimera and Big Kev. They do a great job. Well, Benjamin Chimera had a chance to catch up with the Dominik Mysterio, the son of Rey Mysterio, to talk about and preview tonight's Monday Night Raw. So I know a lot of wrestling fans tune into the show, so we appreciate you. I know you're going to the show tonight at the Nutter Center, so keep that in mind. I'm not going. This might be the first wrestling event to date I haven't gone to. I'm trying to lose weight for our Florida trip coming up here in a couple months, and I've already missed a couple. And I ate like really bad last week, really bad over the weekend. Had way more drinks yesterday than I was supposed to, so I got to get back on track. So I'm skipping the WWE Raw to go work out tonight.
I got it in this weekend too. I actually went to see Pete Davidson down there at the Schuster. Good show, but after that we went out to eat and drink, and then we drank some more and ate some more. And then on Sunday, obviously, I'm like, all right, well, that was last night. And then I proceeded to go get ice cream. And then we went to go get some chicken wings. And then we went double back and got some more ice cream. It was a weekend. It was a weekend to behold. And then this upcoming weekend, we're going to Rib Fest in Columbus. So I need to buckle down Monday through Friday.
So there was, you said Rib Fest. There was Wing Fest that I forgot about this past Saturday. That was at a local. Yeah, no free ads. All right. Well, yes,
every dollar counts.
It was at that establishment, as far as that's concerned. Luda. Sorry, my bad.
That allegedly is going down Thursday.
Like the way we wanted it to, or no?
No.
Oh, well, no. Then there you go. But Wingfest was, Wing needs to get involved in Wingfest. I had a vision. It's not really that great of a vision, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But nonetheless. All right, it's July, folks. All right. This is my least favorite week of the year. I hate All-Star Week. I hate it. Now, I love the All-Star game. That's going to be cool to see Ellie, to see Hunter Green, and to see Ramirez, and this, that, the other. You can see Ramirez tonight in the Home Run Derby. Pretty exciting, but, I hate it. I mean, we're on the cusp. We're so close to training camp. We are so close to a lot of really cool things happening. But at the end of the day, this week stinks. That's why a lot of the national hosts take off. That's why I should have taken off. But it is what it is. I'm here. I'm here, and that's all that matters.
I'm here with you.
But you a little distracted.
A little bit.
Joysticks on the mind. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. But you're right. Like, this is the most difficult time of year in sports. Like, I've even seen some things come down from ESPN. I think I sent you that article. They're now counting down the 100 most important or influential, either or, 100 athletes in sports in the 21st century. So when we laugh about it being list season in June, no, it's officially list season in July, because these 2 weeks between now and when training camp opens, like, there's nothing going on. I mean, we got MLB All-Star game, but guess what? After the All-Star game, there's no baseball for like 2 or 3 days. So we don't have to have that to talk about. We can talk about Olympics. Thank goodness that's happening this year.
Team USA was playing a little bit ago.
Yeah, smacking folks.
So there's that. But no, again, if you're just tuning in, it's the Kinner Kev Show. It's July. Not a whole lot to talk about. Bear with us. We're doing our best. Actually, I do think that the non-sports cycle, it took a lot longer. Like, usually June is pretty bad too. June wasn't bad.
No.
June wasn't bad at all. I think that's I think right now, and this week's still not even that. There's still plenty of stuff to talk about. We're gonna get rolling here in a second. It's a Monday, trying to get it all ironed out nonetheless. But yeah, that's our show lineup for you today. Coming up later on in the program again, Dominik Mysterio, WWE superstar, and then of course Matt Brown to talk about the new college football video game that pre-release or the pre-order game goes live to 4:00 or earlier today, whatever. Like, so keep that in mind as far as that's concerned. If Kev's a little distracted, so there you go. Okay. The NFL draft is huge, right? Like, we know that the NFL draft is king.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA draft is not as big as the NFL draft, but the NBA draft, at least there's some intrigue there as far as that, especially if you have a local player that's in the draft. We're going to talk about Duran, his unfortunate injury that he suffered over the weekend. We have that coming up that we'll talk about too in a moment. But like, the draft is a big deal for a lot of sports, but baseball, I've never been able to get into it.
Right.
Never been able to get into it. And I know a lot of people listening don't get into it either. So I'm having a really hard time understanding why so many people have hot takes on what went down at the draft yesterday. You're a big Guardians fan.
Mm-hmm.
Your team had the number 1 overall pick. And a lot of times, and by the way, I did find out, remember we were trying to figure out if the NBA had its own chime. Major League Baseball uses the same draft chime as well. It's the ESPN draft chime, everybody. It's not the NFL, but whatever. Were you familiar with the options that the Guardians could take with their number 1 overall pick?
Not a clue.
Thank you.
I
appreciate the honesty. You're not a bad fan, because not a lot of Reds fans even knew who were the options for the number 2 overall pick.
Not a clue. So we drafted the kid from Oregon State, right?
Yeah. Yep.
See you in 3 years, dude.
Travis Bazana is his name.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do the Savannah Banana type of promotion if you need to with him or something. I don't know. That was a good pick. I don't think Guardians fans are upset with that. There were a couple options, I guess, that people wanted out there. The Reds ended up taking a pitcher from Wake Forest, and Chase Burns, who is the number 1 pitcher in this class, or in this draft class, whatever. But I guess Charlie Condon and a couple of these guys, again, I'm saying their names as if I know who they are, big time power hitters, big time offensive prospects, big time, middle infielder or outfield prospects, whatever it is, position player prospects, right? Everyone has a hot take on this today. Now, no one watches college baseball during the season. I like college baseball. Wright State has one of the best college baseball programs, mid-major wise, out there. I think mid-major or not, I think they have the best college baseball program in the state as far as that's concerned. All right. So I love college baseball, but I do know that it's not something that I have made appointment watching outside of Wright State whenever I go to those games. So with that being said, I don't know a hell of a lot about Chase Burns. I do watch a little bit more college baseball around the NCAA baseball championships, this, that, and the other. Okay, cool. But when the Cincinnati Reds selected Chase Burns with the number 2 overall pick last night, I was like, okay, cool. I don't know much about him. But when you hear that the Cincinnati Reds took the number 1 pitcher in the draft, I'd say that's pretty good.
Right.
If your team is in the NFL, you took the number 1 quarterback in the draft, the number 1 running back, the number 1 wide receiver, the number 1 the number 1 anything that you take in the NFL draft, that's pretty good. The NBA, you took the number 1 center in the draft. You took the number 1 point guard in the draft. That's pretty good. So why are we upset that we took the number 1 pitcher in the draft? I know that there's some other needs, but let's be clear. This is a team that I know they're not in I don't want to say win now mode, but this is a team that is built to compete now, and they're a lot further to being the finished product than they are at the beginning of the project of the rebuild. So to select somebody that's going to take 2 to 3 years to develop, there's a reason Kev said see in a couple years, because that's how this draft works. everything I'm hearing about Chase Burns, the reason that this was the right pick for the Cincinnati Reds, one, best pitcher in the draft. That is very, very key. But the second important piece of all of this is the fact that the Cincinnati Reds last year called up Matt McClain, Ellie De La Cruz, Christian Encarnacion Strand, Spencer Steer. All right, you're already a couple years into Jonathan India's career and Tyler Stevenson and guys like that. Hunter Green's a third, fourth-year starter or whatever he is. I think with Nick Lodolo. And, obviously, this is year two. Graham Ashcraft did not end up working out, but Andrew Abbott, who was being considered for all-star votes and this, that, and the other. So the core is there. TJ Friedel, the core is there. So getting a guy that is the best pitcher in the draft and is being rumored to be ready to potentially be on the opening day roster next year, like he's good enough to start right away as a next season. To me, this makes all the sense in the world. Getting a project to help this team now, a couple of years from now, I know you got to balance that out and you got to make picks that could give you a couple of years to develop for the future. But sometimes, as I've stated before, my biggest problem with the Reds, it's always about the future, the future, the future. The future needs to be now, and that's what this Chase Burns pick is for me. I'm not a college baseball aficionado. I don't know everything about all these prospects, but I do know that if you're a team like the Reds and you don't spend a lot of money, pitching could be expensive. At the end of the day, if you have a chance to get the best pitcher in the draft, and that's what you did with your number 2 overall pick to add to what looks like it's going to be a deep rotation moving forward with Rhett Lauder coming up and Williamson, and then you already have Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green making his first All-Star appearance tomorrow night. I'm happy with this draft pick. I just laugh at the outrage that people have for a draft, for a sport that they don't even watch, and for guys that, no offense to them, we may get to know them a little bit if they play for Dayton right away with the Dragons, which is pretty cool. That is the cool thing about that in this city. But overall, we're not college baseball aficionados, so let's just trust the Reds. They don't spend a lot of money. That you can complain about, but with the one thing they have done as of late, they have drafted and developed really well.
Yeah, not to regurgitate everything you just said, but sometimes we just have to rely on the experts. We're not experts in college baseball. Yep. I mean, a lot of people act like they're experts in college football. Hand raise to the sky. I'm one of those people that think I know everything about college football. There's a lot of people out there that think they know everything about college basketball and the NBA draft and everything like that. I will be far-fetched to find a casual or regular person that knows a lot about college baseball outside of the team that they follow. Us, we follow Wright State baseball. There's probably folks out there that follow UD, Ohio State, Kentucky, and things like that. Outside of that, you probably couldn't tell me anything about any of the other teams out there that just play in the College Baseball World Series. It's on. I turn it on, but am I actively watching every pitch, thinking like, oh, man, they got to get a strikeout right here? No, it's on. It's background noise. I go to the bar. It's on. I check it out. I'm watching for the game. I'm not watching for the prospects. So sometimes I think it's best to rely on the experts. Just like when you have a problem, like, okay, everybody thinks that they are expert with a car. You can change a tire. Maybe you can change your oil. How about that transmission? You're going to try to change your own transmission in the driveway? No, you're going to take it to an expert. So sometimes we just need to rely on the experts to tell us like, hey, if this person is supposed to be X, Y, and Z, let them draft player X, Y, and Z and let them develop. If they turn out not to be, oh, well, it isn't like I knew any better than they did.
I can change the tire. Don't know nothing about the transmission. Can barely change the presets in my new truck, though. That's all. That's always a problem, too. But that's okay because it's on 1410 Wing AM.
Hey!
Every day, all day. There you go. Hey, you know what? I kind of need a break from doing the show in the studio. We should take the show on the road. How about that? In fact, that's what we're going to do. It's been a while since we've taken the Kinner and Kev Show on the road, and that's what we're going to do because tomorrow it's going to be the Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. Hal McCoy is going to join Kev and I out at Hollywood Gaming for the show from 3 to 6 p.m. Hal won't be there the full 3-hour show. He will be out there for the first part of the show, so come on out the first hour and some change of the show. So come on out to meet Kev and I, to meet the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. It's the Major League Baseball All-Star edition of the Kinner and Kev Show live from Hollywood Gaming, and we got some cool stuff we're giving away. All right, we have Cincinnati Reds tumblers. 50 Cincinnati Reds tumblers will be given away to the first 50 fans that come out to say hello and register for the ESPN Bet or Pen Play app. Okay, come on out to Hollywood Gaming. Come into the sports bar, all right, which is the sports book. You'll see Kevin and I and the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy setting up, doing the show live tomorrow starting at 3 o'clock. There'll also be a table there where you can go and register for the Pen Play app and the ESPN Bet app. When you do that, you will get a Reds tumbler. First 50 fans get those while supplies last. And then after you've registered for those apps, you're entered into a drawing to win Cincinnati Reds tickets. We even have a couple golf bags we're giving away, some coolers, and the Ellie De La Cruz bobbleheads that everyone was lining up for to get. Okay, one of the best Major League Baseball promotional giveaways of the season, regardless of the team. We have a couple of those that we'll be giving away as well. So come on
Define a couple.
Two, only dose. But chances to win Reds tickets, a new golf bag, a big cooler. All right, Reds
Damn, we only
tickets
got one to give away.
So come on out.
We only got one bobblehead to give away.
Only got one. Salespeople got to eat. Apparently, every dollar counts. We'll be right back. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. All right, and we are back. Justin, Kinner, Kev Nash with you here, 1410 ESPN Radio. Just a reminder, really want to see all of you tomorrow at Hollywood Gaming. The live edition of the Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. All right, it'll be a lot of baseball talk tomorrow. Major League Baseball All-Star Game. 2 Cincinnati Reds making their Major League Baseball All-Star debut. Ellie De La Cruz and Hunter Green. And we'll talk about that with the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy tomorrow at Hollywood Gaming for a live edition of the Kinner and Kev Show. Also, I'm excited to talk with Hal McCoy, who obviously his Hall of Fame career, but had a very up close and personal experience with Pete Rose, and with the new documentary coming out on Pete Rose on HBO. I'm excited to get the Hall of Famers' thoughts on that. So come on out, Hollywood Gaming tomorrow, 3 o'clock at the Sports Book, which is their sport. It's an awesome sports bar. I mean, it's really cool. And they had a set up there for the selection Sunday for college basketball, and we're looking forward to being back there tomorrow. So come on out and see us, Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. Roe already says he'll be there.
Nice.
So when you do, again, it's very important. You register for the ESPN Bet and the ESPN Bet app and the Penn Play app when you get there, and you'll get a Cincinnati Reds tumbler. All right, so that's very cool. And then you'll automatically be entered into a drawing to win some cool prizes, tickets to upcoming Reds games. You'll also get a chance to win a new golf bag for you golfers out there. I attempted to golf over the weekend. The golf bag wasn't my problem, but, it might be for you. Get a new golf bag tomorrow. Coolers were given away, some really cool prizes, including the Ellie De La Cruz bobblehead, the City Connect bobblehead from a couple weeks ago. Everyone was in line to get that. And I know a lot of people were reaching out to the station asking how they can get it. Well, come on out to Hollywood Gaming and register for it tomorrow when you meet the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. Kev and I, live edition of the Kinner and Kev Show with Hal McCoy at Hollywood Gaming. Let's go.
It's been a while since we talked to Hal. I mean, obviously the passing of Willie Mays Hayes. Going to talk to him about that. Yeah. Also talk about, now the Negro League stats are officially a part of MLB stats as well. So a lot to talk to him about.
Ryan Strong also says, getting off work early tomorrow. Me and my wife, we can't wait. Thank you.
We
appreciate it. We should do more live shows.
Absolutely. And make sure you wear your jerseys, because if you wear a jersey, you walk away with a Wing AM t-shirt while supplies last.
While supplies last, right? Roger. What up, Roger? Roger on YouTube says, Kinner, much love. Glad that you are hosting Off the Bench, especially during the NFL season. Especially during the NFL season. I feel
he must be a Browns fan.
No, he's a Bengals fan. I feel like this is when, the football season's when I'm going to lose everything I've been trying to establish over there. So, we shall see. Tomorrow, the GMs, coaches, and team personnel put out their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, because it is list season. I might start to lose some of those supporters on tomorrow's show. All right. I might start to lose some of those supporters. I hope not, Roger, but tomorrow on Off the Bench, I'm just, kind of feeding that. We'll be talking about that on tomorrow's show.
We'll come out with our top 10 on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep in mind too, Roger also says heartbroken about Duran though.
Oh man.
Duran Holmes, first of all, like Duran, we always knew just looked different because how big he was out on the floor with a bunch of A-10 players, right? And then you see him in the NCAA tournament against bigger teams, and he still looked massive out on the floor. And then you see him against Arizona, against Trees, and he still looked massive out there. And then he put on even more weight, put on more muscle, put up more skill, and then gets to the summer league and still looked like a monster out there, dude. And it was amazing watching him run up and down the floor. I'm really bummed he tore his Achilles and he's out for the season. That's the thing that's frustrating too. Not that I'm saying I wish harm upon someone if I didn't care for him, but it hurts even more when they're good people. And he's just a good person, a humble person, never said anything bad about anybody in his life. And for him to work as hard as he did and to get to play his way and improve his game, to get drafted in the first round and to be out for the year, that's horrible because he looked the part out there, man. I was really excited to see what he was going to be able to do this upcoming season. But unfortunately, Duran Holmes out for the upcoming year.
Devastating. I was devastated, man. So Friday night, doing summer things out and about, but I knew summer league games were on. So Saturday morning, I get up. I'm like, oh, that's right. Duran played last night. Pull up the stats. 25 minutes, 11 points, a couple rebounds, couple assists, 3 for 3 from downtown. I'm like, awesome. Sweet. I'm out for my morning walk, trying to recover from last night's partying and hanging out on a summer Friday in the city. Shams comes out with the devastating news.
Oh, yeah.
I was crushed, man, because Duran a little bit better than I do. You've hung out with him over there at Lee's. You had a chance to interview him down there at the arena. So when he was here in the studio, this was my first time meeting him. for lack of a better word, very sweet guy, man. Super nice guy,
Yeah.
man. Like, I mean,
he doesn't know how good he is.
Yeah, like he's super humble, just, hey man, whatever you need, call me for interviews, sign 1 million autographs, super humble. The suit that he wore, he wore the royal purple suit. You see a lot of the guys out there, super flashy, super jewelry and everything like that. He was just dressed to the nines, man. And to go to the Denver Nuggets, I mean, Kinner, you heard me talk about this. You heard me gush about Joker for years and years and years before they won the championship. But to be able to play with the best player at the NBA and to be able to have a vital role on that team before the season even started, he was going to be the sixth man. He was going to be the sixth man because they have moved on from all of their older players that were coming off the bench. It was going to be his time to shine off the bat. He was going to be logging about 20 minutes a night playing next to Jokic. Like it was the perfect opportunity for him. And he showed his worth in that one summer league game. But unfortunately, it all came crashing down. But you know what? This isn't the 1980s or the 90s. These dudes bounce back from these Achilles injuries like that.
Yep.
Kevin Durant bounced back like that. So I don't question for 1 second that he's going to bounce back and be the player that we all expected him to be in the NBA, man. Wishing him nothing but a speedy recovery.
Chet Holmgren didn't have that injury, right? He had a injury. What was his injury? The others I bring this up is because Chet Holmgren ended up, there was a lot of doubt about Chet Holmgren's frame of how he would hold up as a rookie in the NBA, right? And Chet Holmgren ends up experiencing
he had a Liz Frank.
He had what?
Liz Frank in his foot, broken foot.
So he ends up missing his entire rookie year, right? And then everyone was really questioning how his frame, how he'd make a. Well, that whole year that he was out injured, it actually ended up being like kind of a blessing in disguise because that entire year he still got to take in the league. That entire year he did nothing but work out still. I mean, obviously limitations while recovering, but still was able to put on muscle mass, still was able to travel and kind of learn the things while sitting off to the sidelines. And then he did he win rookie? He competed for rookie of the year.
For the rookie of the year.
And he was, and we said, and this wasn't anything against him, I don't think you should be rookie of the year. If you've hurt for your rookie year and out, you shouldn't win rookie of the year next year, right? But like that was our big take.
But watch how I change it up next year.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping he wins co-rookie of the year.
Exactly.
Co-rookie of the year.
That would be hilarious.
Deron Holmes winning co-rookie of the year. We'll come full circle. But no, my point is Deron already started to put on some of that muscle mass before. I think it's not a blessing in disguise. That's not what this is, but there is at least going to be benefits to a very horrible situation that happened with this. So, I think he's still going to be able to use this time to put on muscle mass, to learn the game from the sidelines. And then when he's able to get on that floor, I think he's going to kill it next year. So I'm jacked for him when that time comes. It's just unfortunate that we have to wait another full calendar year.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
So there you go. All right. Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Jake Whiting. What up, Jake? He said, hey, the boys are back on Facebook. I normally listen on the radio. Now y'all are back on the book. Absolutely.
We are here.
Back. So appreciate you tuning in, Jake. Jake, I expect to see you tomorrow. Hollywood Gaming Dayton, right? Like we're going to see you tomorrow at 3:00 with the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. I'm just saying, I expect to see a lot of people there tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. I mean, it is MLB All-Star. Like, think about it like this. Like, I used to love the Pro Bowl. I don't watch the Pro Bowl anymore. You used to love NBA All-Star Weekend. You don't watch that anymore. I think MLB is the last one that everybody still watches. It's still the same way as it was when we were kids. They're still hustling. They're still playing it. I don't think it's been changed too much since we were kids. All the others have changed so much. I mean, they don't even play the Pro Bowl anymore. It's a flag football game. I mean, they might as well not play the NBA one. It's a 3-point shootout and a dunk contest all wrapped up in one. So the Major League Baseball is the only one that really still plays how the real game is played. So I'm anxious to check it out.
And yeah, with that too, you're going to have obviously the best pitcher arguably in baseball, Paul Skeens, starting for the National League.
Pirates.
One thing we'll get into in a little bit, but apparently, according to a couple of reports, Rob Manfred was reportedly ready to step in. He sees this is a weird thing to say, but Paul Skeens is the Caitlin Clark from Major League Baseball right now. He is a draw. Like, there's a lot of really good players in this, and like L.A. De La Cruz is a draw. There's a lot of these guys that are draws, but there's there's not a player in baseball outside of Aaron Judge and a couple others right now that when they go on the road, ticket sales increase. I love Ellie, but Ellie's not he's not filling up road ballparks right now, right? Paul Skeens is. Like, and you have literally, he's going on the road pitching against the St. Louis Cardinals and dominating the Cardinals and walking off to a standing ovation in St. Louis. Now, I hate that. I don't think your home fans should be cheering other players. I'm cutthroat like that, right? But that's how special this kid is. That's what Caitlin Clark's doing in the WNBA. She's getting home crowd, cheers on the road. Well, apparently Rob Manfred was, because there was a debate of whether or not they were going to wait till this to last night to make a decision of who the All-Star, the National League starter was going to be. Apparently, Rob Manfred was reportedly ready to step in if Chris Sale was chosen to start the All-Star game instead of Paul Skeens. I don't know what proof they have of that. This is Barstool, but MSN and a couple others did put that out there too. I don't know what that necessarily means, but again, this was we see this in all sports. People act like the WNBA with how the handling of Caitlin should be different. I think Rob Manfred knows, okay, we have something really special here in this All-Star game is about putting your stars on full display. Not if he would be coming into the third inning, it would matter. But I think having him as the National League starter, I think is such a big deal to have such a young, special talent come into the league. And he's kind of like that Travis Kelce type guy right now because he's dating Olivia Dunn. So they're kind of like the power couple
LSU,
of baseball. Baby. And she's coming back to LSU. I don't know what that means, but I guess.
Go Tigers.
I don't know what you're allowed to say anymore. So go Tigers. There you go. I think if he was there, he'd be letting her come to practice.
But to piggyback off what you talked about in the first segment about people in Reds country mad because they drafted a pitcher. Well, this kid is only 22 years old, and they say he's the best pitcher in baseball. So, talent doesn't have an age. So if the pitcher that the Reds drafted turns out to be just like him, no harm, no foul.
So the other thing, too, a buddy of mine brought this up last night. We talk so much about how NIL impacts the NFL or college football.
Mm-hmm.
We talk so much about how NIL impacts college basketball because those are the two biggest revenue generating sports, right? And then, obviously baseball doesn't get a whole lot of talk about that. In fact, baseball, that's a sport that has so many bodies in the dugout. And I think you only get like 11 scholarships or something crazy, 11 or 12. It's a small number of scholarships. Well, now this was the least amount. And again, there's been draft picks all day. I just read something earlier today. This has been the least amount of high school players drafted so far to this point in the draft. Again, the draft's been going all day. And I saw this a little bit coming out of off the bench earlier today, but they, it said it was the least amount of high school players taken out of the draft. And you have to wonder if the NIL is playing a role in that. I don't know how hot and heavy collectives are getting with college baseball, but you would have to think that I think the reason you're starting to see an increase in college players being taken out of the draft is because of the fact that over the last couple of years, I think some high schoolers have opted of, well, why do I want to go to college and not get paid to play when I can go straight, be drafted by Major League Baseball? Remember, they changed everything up with the union that they have now for minor league baseball. Like, it's not great pay, but it's more pay than what you'd be getting in college as a college baseball player. I actually think NIL of all the sports out there, and a buddy of mine, shout out to Brad, he brought this up last night. I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, we talk, what does NIL, does it help baseball more or does it help basketball more? Does it help football more? I actually think it might be helping baseball more because college baseball players didn't have a chance to make money playing college baseball. Now they do. And that's why they would just get drafted just to go, because why not? At least I'll get paid. Now they don't have to. And I think that's why you're starting to see guys kind of stick around baseball a little bit longer. I think you're playing better quality baseball in college and get coached up more in college individually. I think it is helping college baseball more than any other sport, as wild as that sounds.
I think it's helping women's sports more than anybody because there's not a lot of professional women's leagues out there. I mean, we all know about the WNBA. We know about the overseas basketball that the women get to play, but there's no softball league for women to play in like there is for Major League Baseball. There's nowhere for these gymnasts to go after they're done with gymnastics in college, unless they're, Gabby Douglas level, Simone Biles level, and going over to the Olympics and things of that nature. So the ability to make money at your highest earning potential for these women is vital. And I was just Googling this. There's 20 rounds in the MLB draft. 20 rounds.
I think that shrunk too. That's either the old total amount of rounds or that's what they shrunk it down to. I need to look into that. But 20, regardless, whether that's the shortened version or what it was, that is insane. 2 rounds in the NBA. Okay. There's only 1 round in the WNBA. The NFL has 7 rounds. And
NHL has 7.
So
that's a lot. That's a lot. And I think about how Tracy McGrady was drafted in Major League Baseball, and he said he hadn't played pitcher since he was in the 8th grade, but he was already 6'4" in the 8th grade. So like he still got drafted. Crazy.
Yeah. But like, I mean, it's still, even with that though, like I said, high schoolers choosing to be drafted by Major League Baseball because at least they can have get paid a little bit of money and they're drafted right away. But you get drafted right away as a high schooler, you risk more. You risk, actually panning out. Going to college for a year or 2 years now with NIL, I think we're going to start to slowly see the payoff there. And I think Paul Skeens and some of these guys now, they're coming out. Like baseball used to be 3-4 years before you see something. Now, I mean, you look at Skeens coming out, immediate impact.
Yeah.
Burns is expected to be a player in the rotation for the Reds as early as next spring. So you have to wonder if that plays a role. These guys staying around in college one more year, that COVID year, but they're not all using that extra COVID year. Some guys are just choosing to stay in college one additional year just because why not? And really, there's not a whole lot of baseball programs out there that are probably benefiting from the NIL, but I know like Tennessee is. The Haslams who own the Cleveland Browns they invest heavily into Tennessee baseball as far as that's concerned. So that's interesting, but that's why Tennessee's a powerhouse. That's why they're pretty much, in the College World Series every other year as far as that's concerned. So
how many years did Ellie do in the minors?
Gosh, man, I want to say that's a good question. I'm trying to think of what year he was drafted. Hunter Green was drafted in 17, and he didn't get called up until 21, if I'm not mistaken, because I feel like 21, 22, 23. No, I think 22. Hunter Green was around. That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are usually hanging around for a while. I remember Ella here. I remember hearing about the legend of Ella here, right? Like, and then all of a sudden he just shot up the board.
Okay, so 19. Started in the minor leagues in 19, if I'm reading this correctly from Baseball Reference.
And look at 19, and then you got 20, 21, 22. I mean, that's 3-4 years before you see him. This is why I don't get into the draft for baseball. But at the same time,
4 years in the minors.
I promise you this much, though. If we start to see a pattern of guys being drafted and making more immediate impacts, like within 2 years, I think the interest in college baseball starts to pick up. I think that the interest in the baseball draft starts to pick up. But we'll see.
We'll see.
That's why it's important to have a developmental system, and that's the one thing that the Reds have drastically improved upon over the years. No doubt about it. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. You remember when people used to get mad at the idea of changing Paul Brown Stadium to Paycor? I was going to ruin the game experience for you as fans. Well, Ohio State fans, there's some Ohio State fans who aren't happy because Ross Bjork, the new athletic director for Ohio State, said never say never when the question of could the shoe remain the shoe. We'll talk about that when we come back.
minutes.
So during COVID, Kev Nash and I were sitting in this studio, and we were doing a show every day, and there was no sports to talk about. And then obviously you had the Michael Jordan documentary that saved a lot of sports talk show hosts out there. And then there was and of course what are high school sports going to do during COVID? How's the OHSAA going to handle it? Then it was, man, is there even going to be a college football season? Remember when the Big Ten almost didn't have a season that year? I mean, there was stuff to talk about, but then there was one day 4 years ago, where finally it came out that, you know what? Calm before the storm. The college football video game would be making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback, right? It's a comeback. It's a comeback right now because, well, now I guess at 4 o'clock. It came out. 4 o'clock is when the video game came out. I know you're anxious. You want to get home. You want to play this video game, but you've been waiting a long time. 10 plus years.
11 years.
11 years.
11 long years. And in exactly 60 seconds, the game will be live.
Earlier today.
Live. It's going to be live. It's going to be on there. I'm going to be able to play it. I cannot wait to play this game. And I got a chance to talk to Matt Brown. Now, Matt Brown, he became, big time because he's covering the college football game release. He has a newsletter called the Extra Points newsletter, and his, main job is to, cover the business part of sports, talking to athletic directors, talking about how, certain naming rights happen and, deals with Nike and Adidas and other schools and things of that nature. Like, that's mainly what he does. But once he got wrapped up in this world of covering this college football game, like his media availability spiked. We were supposed to have him on a show weeks ago, but he was just that jam-packed, handling other engagements. He's been on Colin, he's been on ESPN, he's been on Bomani Jones, he's been everywhere, but he took the time out to have a little convo with Kinner and Kev.
So we'll have that coming up for you here in just a few moments. Talked about naming rights. Speaking of that, so Ross Bjork is the new athletic director for Ohio State. He's doing his media rounds. Ross Bjork will actually be on the Kinner and Kev show. We're waiting on the date to be confirmed. It's supposed to be within the next week, possibly 2, once Ohio State gets back with us about when we're going to have Ross Bjork on. I'm really looking forward to that. But so he's doing a lot of media hits right now. So he's going to get back in multiple corners, I'm sure, because when he's doing these media hits around the state, of course, he's going to be asked everything under the sun, right? Mm-hmm. And he was asked about with all the new revenue generating streams that have happened through NIL and everything else, these new ADs or these ADs in today's climate have to be as creative as possible to come up with, revenue generators. And one of those ideas was he was asked about whether or not they would be open to the idea of, selling the naming rights to the shoe. I don't know what that would be called. The Geico shoe, the Geico Buckeye Stadium, Geico Stadium. I mean, I have no clue, but locally around here, Ohio State's local. But I mean, when the Cincinnati Bengals fans, they got mad at that's tradition. It's Paul Brown, so you don't call it Paycor. Well, you know what? I don't think you guys care. You should not care what the name of the stadium is that you are going to watch it. Now, I say that because Crypto Arena is what used to be the Staples Center. And growing up watching the Lakers, it was the Lakers at Staples Center. Well, you know what I still call it? I still call it Staples Center. I don't care if they call it crypto, whatever, because the bottom line is the Staples Center is Staples Center. Madison Square Garden, I don't care if they change it tomorrow to Wells Fargo Arena or whatever they could. It doesn't matter. Alpha Media Arena, it doesn't matter. It will always be Madison Square Garden. So for me, the shoe, he didn't say that they were going to do it. He said that they're never going to say no to anything. If there's an opportunity to make money and it makes sense, they're going to look into it. I don't care if they call it the Alpha Media shoe or whatever. It will always be the shoe. It'll always be Buckeye Stadium. I don't really care, Kev. I don't know why people let stories like this get a reaction out of them, but yet here we are.
Yeah, this is a nothing burger to me. If we learned anything in college sports or sports in general, everything's for sale. Like, especially something as simple as naming rights. If that's going to generate more revenue for the school, which in turn means more and / better players, means more winning, then we should all be for it. And also, like, let's say if you are a low level booster and they sold their naming rights to the shoes, let's just say it is the Alpha Media shoe or Ohio State University's shoe presented by Alpha Media, whatever they're going to call it. All right. Are they winning? Are they still winning at the same rate? Cool. If they're not, oh man, that sucks. Maybe we should change it to a different name. because that's the only thing that really matters is what happens on the field. It's not about, the name of it, because they should put the naming rights up for the stadium, for the field, for the coach. I mean, Michigan State, I believe their actual basketball program is the Michigan State Spartans basketball team presented by Rocket Mortgage or something like that. I think that's the official name or something of that ilk. So I don't care. Are you winning? That's the only thing I care about. Wins and losses. And you got to have way more wins than losses and championships. I would like to get a championship. So if you got to change the name of the horseshoe to get a championship, let's do it.
Have you got to change the name of your stadium to pay your quarterback? Okay.
Yeah.
And
let's be real. Yeah. If you didn't, then you're hustling backwards.
Yeah. And I poked fun at the Bengals. Oh, you're so cheap and poor, you can't even afford your quarterback. You got to sell naming rights. And you know what? If you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you know what you should respond with? And we got it done, didn't we? So get it done. And now today with college pro athletics now allowed to pay, they can pay up to $20 million across the board. Well, if this is a way for them to get a pool of that money to pay those players to go to Ohio State to win national championships, I don't care if they play on the moon, just bring home the championship. OH. That's all I care about as far as that's concerned. All right. Kinner Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. Tomorrow, live at Hollywood Gaming. We are looking forward to seeing all of you. If you want to see the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy along with myself and Kev Nash, come on out. It'll be the Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy at Hollywood Gaming starting at 3 o'clock. The first 50 fans that show up and register for the ESPN Bet app and Pen Play app, you will automatically walk away with a brand new, cool Cincinnati Reds tumbler. Your name will also be entered into a drawing to win new golf bags, coolers, tickets to upcoming Reds games, and we even have the LA De La Cruz bobblehead. We'll be giving away a couple of those as well.
Nice.
That's been people. I hope you don't, but if you do, I don't blame you. You can make a nice little penny off this bobblehead. I've seen some people go right to the E to the Bay with it, but no, it's a very valuable bobblehead, and we're excited to be giving that away tomorrow at Hollywood Gaming. Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy live from Hollywood Gaming. We're looking forward to seeing everyone. As I said, Kev, Ryan Strong, he's watching the show live on Facebook. He says he even has the City Connect jersey on in his profile picture.
Nice.
He says, getting off early tomorrow. Me and my wife, we can't wait. Looking forward to seeing Ryan and his family out there. Ro said he'll be there. Ro always going to be there. You know Shaw's going to be there.
Oh, you know Shaw's in the building.
Right.
And you know Shaw's going to want to talk about his cheating football program.
Whether it's on the phone or in person, we appreciate it. So
have those gamer tags ready.
So, yes, the gamer tags, no doubt. But to come on out, Hollywood Gaming, get ready to download and register the ESPN Bet app, again, for your chance to walk away with the free Reds tumbler and to be entered into a drawing to win some really cool prizes. We'll see you tomorrow, Hollywood Gaming. Again, the Kinner and Kev Show with Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. Looking forward to that. All right, college football video game. We talked about that a lot earlier. Excited about that. So keep that in mind as far as that's concerned, because when we come back, Kev Nash had an opportunity to catch up with Matt Brown to talk about all of the behind-the-scenes stuff going into this game, the gameplay, how it looks, how it feels. He's been playing it for 2 weeks, he said?
Ooh, 2 weeks. He's got it early. He actually played it on a demo day down there at Orlando, and then they sent him a digital copy to play and preview, everything like that. And now he had the official copy for like a week already. So he's been playing a lot of games, man, a lot of games. A lot of, gamer guys out there that game on Twitch and stuff like that started debuting like, hey, I played an entire season already and things like that. They had Shador and Travis Hunter playing on their live Twitch channel. I saw that when Travis Hunter was talking about the offensive line is very real. They can't block for doo-doo. Who else? They had Michael Vick and Tim Tebow play versus each other. So it's just so much content out there about this game. And now we can officially play it ourselves.
Well, I wasn't going to get it, but Arch Manning said to get it. So I'm going to go get it.
There you go.
Influencer.
Influencer.
Can't believe they paid him $40,000, $50,000 to get a game that everyone was going to get anyways. But hey, that's called FU money.
Basically.
All right, Kev Nash, Matt Brown coming up next, talking all things about the new college football 2025 video game, which comes out 4 o'clock. So keep that in mind. But we'll be right back.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are